Joe. I understand that there was stuff that was missing that you wanted to be there. Could you explain what was that?
Basically, there's it's through no fault of anybody here. My DVD version I discovered this afternoon was sticking at certain points, so I was a little bit worried about that. And we came down here, put the DVD on, which seemed to be playing okay, and you can actually see it. But what the version you've just watched is a version that we've downloaded that is up on the internet, that you can see fine on the internet. Unfortunately, you can't see it very well on here. So consequently, a lot of the imagery that you needed to see within the film, I'm tearing my eyes out at the back because you can't see it. So yeah,
like the imagery in the background, like.
That's it. You can just vaguely make things out, and obviously on the online version and on the DVD versions that we've had, you can actually see what you're meant to be able to see there. I'm kind of haunted by this film because it's the second time this has happened. It happened at the Larry at the premiere. You'll be able to, you can see it online anyway on Vimeo, and anybody that wants that, if you get in touch with John, we'll send you the link, and you'll see what you missed, which hopefully wasn't much, but there are some key points where you can see certain things, and unfortunately you couldn't see them there. But that was all. That was all.
Keep the microphone, because I'm always interested in what I'm saying.
All right. Okay.
So the film was set in Paradise Heights.
That's right.
Where there seems to be a lot of angry and confused and damaged people.
Yes, it's an angry, confused, damaged community.
Is that anywhere nearby here? Does it look like Oslo?
Yeah, it was filmed in Salford. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, around Salford. Yeah, okay. Yeah, where a lot of my stuff is influenced by Salford. It's also influenced by Hume and Halliwell and Owens Estate, places I lived in Bolton. All my writing is kind of influenced by that, so I created an amalgamation of those places and called it Paradise Heights. So yeah.
I bet house prices are really cheap.
Dead cheap, yeah. I mean, mine's going up for sale as well at the minute. Maybe the finance the next film I'll play. But, yeah.
I thought it was really interesting that you set your film on Halloween, because that's kind of been sanitised a little bit. We've kind of been Americanised, and it's all this treat thing. Are you kind of reclaiming Halloween back from the trick-or-treaters and making something dark and faux golden again?
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason the film came about, which will actually it'll come out across in a documentary that some of you might see shortly. I did a play called Rank that was set on Halloween. I like to set my plays at certain times of the year, so it gives me an excuse to bring them back once a year. So that's why Strawberry Jack is set at Christmas. And within that, it was set in a taxi rank, and to cut a long story short, you stayed with the action on stage, but you could hear stuff going on with the drivers radioing in, and you heard this incident. With it being Halloween, some of the drivers are sat around sort of telling ghost stories and things, and obviously one of the drivers has a ghostly encounter out on the estate, but all you hear is him frantically radioing in, I've knocked someone down, and it relates to a story within the play. And the Lowry approached us to re-put that play on, and they said we'd also like you to produce another short film, and it just gave me a golden opportunity to show what happened on that road and connect it directly to the play Rank, so that's why that was done.
Okay. And one thing that struck me was that the way that you portray Manchester, or Salford, I think about it, as kind of something that's very kind of almost bleached out, but at night, you know, it's kind of that neon light stuff. Can you explain what?
Well, again, we wanted to give the piece a mood and a feel, and there is, although it looks like an area of sort of menace, and you know, you do feel that within the streets, there is a certain amount of heart that's shot through the story as well, and that's told through kind of the fireman and Marek's connection with him, and that's, you know, as the blurb says at the beginning, although it might, you know, we might have for every community that is deprived and has its fair share of crime, etc., etc. What I'm trying to get across is that there's also heart, soul, and humanity if you look for it as well. Sometimes you have to look hard for it. Sometimes you don't have to look so hard, but it's always there. And that's what I'm trying to get across, the soul of the community as well.
Talking to the fireman, I thought it was great that you're giving Peter Hook work now that's no longer
it's Peter Hook. I know they got Peter Hook. There is. So yeah.
Amazing from the corridor over there.
Big fan of Unknown Pleasures. Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about one thing that I was really impressed by was the kids as well, with those kind of the kabuki faces, you know, the kind of the masks.
Yes.
That kind of idea of uniform kids all in a uniform.
Yeah.
Grey, unrecognisable masks.
Exactly.
Where did you get that idea from?
Well, again, I mean, I've always had this. I like this idea of masks. A lot of my characters tend to be scarred characters and things, and I like the idea of getting behind the mask as well, particularly when I'm working with actors and things. But again, it's just that faceless thing that's going on in a lot of these communities. You go from estate to estate. The snapshots, they're all kind of the same. And I mean, I am looking at re-editing the film where you don't actually hear the guys talking behind the mask, which would give even more of a feel of a menace to these characters.
But at the same time, those kids are kids and they're normal people.
That's right, and they were actually scared as well.
That you rarely see because you just can't see this kind of hood. And you don't see anything else, and there are actually people underneath it.
That's
I
right.
like that. I would think twice about it.
Yeah, well, probably will. I'll take that on board. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah.
Tell us about Strawberry Jack.
Strawberry Jack, again, it's a separate story set in Paradise Heights, and the chap that you see there, Frank Morgan in the film, he has a club in Paradise Heights called the Ace of Spades, and again, it's been referred to in the other separate productions. You don't have to see any of the other productions. Each one you see is a self-contained story, but the more you see the connections. For instance, the one I was just talking about a minute ago, Rank, told the story of a lad called Connie McGeehan, ex-boxer, who the first time you see him in Rank, he's lying on the floor underneath a railway arch. He's been decked by a doorman from the Ace of Spades nightclub, because Connie had gone down there, caused a bit of bother, and he's suffering from Parkinson's. This doorman happens to be particularly scarred, and he said a couple of nasty things about him. Doorman's lost his rag, doesn't want to, knocks him out, leaves him under there. Throughout the play, then Rank, and it won't spoil much for you if you haven't seen it, Connie ends up dying through being beaten up by others. Jack thinks it's his fault, Strawberry Jack, and I wanted to tell Jack's story in Strawberry Jack, which again, as well as he's dealing with that, he's dealing with several other issues, and you see other characters, and you get to see a little bit of the Ace of Spades nightclub, which I wanted to introduce, because there'll be a next play called Torch that will take us actually into the club. This introduces the club. It's the most ambitious piece we've done so far, certainly in terms of theatre. And again, David Edward Robertson will be in that as well. And it's going to be a real. I think we've got something special on our hands with this one. So if you get the chance to come along on the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th of December, and I can promise you, assure that you really will remember. You'll take something away from that with you.
Okay, I think we're about to take ready to take questions from the floor. Has anyone got any questions?
Chris.
Young man over there, Chris.
Look, 25 minutes. Why didn't you go for the feature? Why didn't you just do it and just fucking jump in? Because to be honest with you, it did help. It held me and engaged me throughout. So why didn't you just go? You know what? Let's feature this.
The biggest thing was the time constraints, because the Lowry had approached us and they were putting on a festival on the 12th of June, and for me, I thought I've got to meet that deadline, and it was a whole deadline thing. What it really encouraged me to do was, for those that don't know it, the precursor to that film, if you look online, you'll find a film called I'm Frank Morgan, which was shot 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and it tells the story of what happened to that house and that family and what Frank did, and why Frank is revisiting this estate, this part of the estate on Halloween. What that's encouraged me to do, Chris, is to take Frank, to take that story and to have a third act and to shoot a full feature that tells the story across the decades. So it was the best time I'd ever had on a film set, and consequently, I'd really like to do that, the full saga of that particular story in Paradise Heights. So that will come.
It kind of feels like the modern day, I don't know how to say this, but Sin City, like the whole intertwining stories.
Yeah.
We've got a feature where it had those, like say, Strawberry Jack.
That's it. Yeah, and it is that kind of feeling. I mean, the strategy, the plan behind it all is slowly but surely to try to get TV companies to recognise that actually this is a TV series kind of waiting to happen, and the reason I'm going through theatre a lot at the moment is it's quicker to turn those around, it's quicker to get those reviews and to get that kind of audience reaction. And up to now we've done really well. We've had like 4 or 5 star reviews on everything that we've done, so I really want to keep that quality threshold up there, which is why we're really going to be pushing Strawberry Jack to be something big, you know, that's the plan. Phil?
All the plays and all the short films you've done so far, they are, like you've been saying, like big series, etc. What's your finished, your final vision or final product when you've fully done them all? You've kind of been talking about the TV series and possibly feature film, etc. What's your finished version? What do you want to kind of get out of it once it's fully done?
Well, I mean, it's a funny thing. I mean, there's so many stories still to come. You know, there's so many plot lines and threads that I've gone down and kept going. And I suppose really it has to be TV. Really, you know, the ultimate TV series is what I'm trying to go for with it. All the stories that we've told so far in Paradise Nights can be adapted very easily in script form to film and to TV, and with the kind of, you know, showing things like The Watcher, I'm Frank Morgan, etc., can show the kind of tone that we're trying to set for the series as well. Again, I'm really good with the way it looked there tonight, but again, it just helps. It helps you sell it more, you know, to show it like this. And yeah, the ultimate aim, Phil, is to get that series on. But what I also recognise is, along the way, you end up sacrificing that certain big names need to sell it. You have to have big casts, etc., etc. And the only thing that I would wish for in that is that all the people that have helped get the stories to this stage would end up sharing some of that and end up playing parts within the series anyway, not necessarily the parts they originally played, but they're obviously rubbing shoulders with the people that have had far more success doing what they're doing out there, and it gives them a leg up as well. That's the, yeah.
How many tales are there in total? I mean, is this something, have you mapped the whole thing out? Is there still things you haven't decided on?
Well, the plan was 10 tales from Paradise Nights was the plan. I'm 7 in down the road at the moment, and I've got storylines for another 5, so it's looking like 12 now. But as long as people continue to come and watch these, and as long as we keep on getting the reviews that we're getting, and I keep getting the ideas that I'm getting, and the ideas up to now are still flowing, I'll just keep going until people say, right, we've had enough now, and I'll do something else. But up to now, and the biggest kick for me is the people that I've been working with and meeting along the way that have really got behind these, because any form of production that you're putting on, be it film or theatre, is a massively collaborative process. It's not one person, it's huge. And yes, there might be words on a page, but they don't mean anything until an actor and a crew get hold of that, and then that mix, that really potent mix with all the talent that you're involved with, really makes it something else. And these tales wouldn't be anywhere without that kind of involvement and passion behind it that I've had, and I'm blown away by the people that I've worked with that have really helped get it to where it is. It's been amazing, really amazing. Anybody else? I think I've talked enough. But yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for the feedback.